All right, so today's video, we're gonna be watching a Kiriko BAP in bronze. Basically, description-wise, we got a classic here. Basically, this was the worst game I've ever played. So this is apparently the worst game ever played by this Kiriko BAP. Our tank was not in comms and just would not group up or stay with us. I do admit, I got off the point because I TP'd instead of just letting Mercy handle the healing our DPS needed. Our DPS was getting mad at me and our tank. The enemy tank also was talking crap. Let me go with that one. A little bit of paraphrasing. It was a whole thing, and it was frustrating. Especially because our one DPS in comms kept telling me to leave the comms for no reason. I feel like I definitely should be in low gold / high silver, but roast me like a grilled sandwich before I make it out of bronze. Roast me like a grilled cheese sandwich. All right, we're off to a good start. Let's go watch this game.
Attackers incoming.
Well, your Winston does play pretty aggressive by diving the doors of Junkertown. Does get out, though. That's not bad. I'm watching right now. So far, everything's fine. So far, everything's fine. From what I'm gathering right now, everything is fine. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, this is a start. Like, this is basically. See, it's always interesting because, like, I'll sit there and I'll talk to chat and I'll load into, like, a Junkertown game and I'll be like, oh, well, I'm going Sigma because this is a double sniper map. But I will say, that's why I always say things can be very rank dependent on what we're talking about with that stuff, because we are now on Junkertown. We have a Reaper, a Soldier versus a Soldier and a Genji. And the team fights happening here, which, like I said, like, it's, it can be very rank dependent on that stuff. Be careful of trying to use your cleanse, like, there specifically, because it wasn't going to really be the value that, yeah, exactly. Your Winston has actually, sometimes you can go off of what your tank is doing. Your Winston's been doing a fairly decent job, believe it or not, of actually jumping out when they get low. So sometimes, like, if you look at, like, what your player's doing, that's going to be their play style. And your Winston, although playing aggressive, is backing up so far. Granted, that could change. But so far, it's been fine. Obviously, the wall climb and the TP, that was just not ideal. Obviously, you got to be quicker with the Suzu at the same time your teammate didn't really get out of there to begin with. I would not TP to your Winston right now. I already see what's... Yeah, okay. Let's talk about that for a second. Let me ask you a question here. What happens if you get to your Winston right there? This is what I'm curious on, because even if you get to your Winston, what happens? Your team's already down multiple people. You're better off just resetting, falling back, and if you want to go to the point, you have, like, a window here where, like, you can go in with your Genji, maybe, and use Suzu on your Genji if they want to go for a Blade. I don't think it's going to happen that way, but there's more you can do than trying to get to a Winston 8,000 meters across the map, who already is at about 25% HP, because if you do get to them, like, if you do get to the Winston, you're still going to get rolled, and your Winston's not going to get any value, because at that point, the Winston's kind of already forced out. It's just, you're not going to be able to do anything. This is what's going to happen. Exactly what you're seeing right now. Look where your team's at right now. You could be in a 4v5 right now with Suzu and Genji Blade. And I think, like, a lot of the time that can be really helpful, rather than just trying to make that play to the Winston. Like, the Winston was just aggro to begin with. Anyway, let's see what happens. I think ideally you'll probably want to... If you want a Kitsune, I would save it for the Genji now. Okay, so this is an example of what I was talking about. Okay, so, two things here. One, don't do that. Two, if your Winston is complaining about you not going in or saving them on that, that is on your Winston. That is on your Winston at that point. If your Winston wants to jump into their backline, and I always say, like, sometimes, like, if you can get everybody in your team to play the same style, it's better than having one person, like, playing, like, not the right style. But there's this difference between playing aggressive and playing 400 meters across the map on first point Junkertown while you have second point defense going on. There's a big difference there. So there's always a tendency, and I think we all can at least I do this as a tank, and I know supports will do this. There's a tendency to try to save a teammate when they're massively out of position, which generally results in you also becoming out of position and just keep snowballing your team. It happens all the time. And times I'll be like, oh, I went to go save my teammate. But then, like, my next reaction is like, I probably shouldn't have done that because they're just massively out of position and I'm better off setting up for the next fight or being able to trade rather than just running in and feed it. And that's what you did. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to talk about that for a second because that's what I just saw, is you kind of, you're already trying to save your tank when they're already being too aggressive. Now they switched to Doom, so we'll see how that goes. I'll see what happens. I'm watching. TP, please. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that whole sequence. Okay, we're gonna talk about the whole sequence here because I think this is a really good way to kind of talk about this. So you didn't. Okay, so what happened there is you got Sunstruck. All right, for anybody doesn't know what Sunstruck is or like is still getting used to the name of Ayari's ultimate, it's Ayari's ultimate, okay? Your reaction was to look at your teammate that already went back to spawn, look at a Doomfist, okay? Now, I know I just told you don't TP into the team in a certain situation, but hear me out. This is why I always talk about how Overwatch can be very situational. I talk about this where I'm saying like sometimes we'll talk about one play and then you have to adapt to the next play and it's different. At that point, you have somebody behind you that you didn't even look at once. But who is it? It's your Genji with Blade. So how can you turn a fight? Oh, I have Kitsune. Oh, our Genji has Blade. My Genji's in a good spot for me to TP to. They won't get me. You can now Kitsune Blade. No problem. No problem. And if you lose the team fight, I still think you're in a decent spot because your Genji can actually get a ton of value there. And you'll also get another TP. And you'll get another Suzu because of your cooldowns will decrease during that. Like, you'll get your cooldowns back quicker. If your reaction after getting ulted is to stare at a Doomfist in front of you the whole time without even using your abilities there, that's what's going to happen. You're just not going to have an opportunity. And that's also why I say Overwatch is so situational, because sometimes people will be like, do I TP to my teammates? And my answer will be yes. And then you'll be like, do I TP to my teammates? I the answer will be no. You see what I'm saying? How, like, it's Overwatch is constantly having to make quick decisions based off of what's happened, and it's never going to be the exact same. Well, your setups will be. Like, not what happens, because you have to see what's happening in-game. Anyway, sorry. Go back here now. Do not go in with your Doom here. Do not go in with your Doom. I want you to Kitsune. 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 Okay, so, this is where I talk about this. Stop waiting on something to happen before you use your ultimate. Be the aggressor. Be the aggressor. Be the aggressor. Just so you understand, you would have had 2 or 3 Kitsunes by now in the comparison to the one that you've used. All right? In comparison to the one that you've used, you would have already had this, okay? You got to use that. All right? You said Reaper? Yeah, Reaper is it's arm day, okay? Okay, so what's the play? Kitsune. Kitsune, right now. I'll be honest with you, I want to pause the video, but I can't see my keyboard now. I don't know where the letter is to pause this, so give me a second. I gotta put my glasses back on. I can't go with that bit. What in the world? Why are you... You just... Yeah. First of all, I just want to point something out here. You can get to the point right there. 100%. 2, you have a Bastion. So you Kitsune, your Bastion gets value, right? And then you have a chance. I'm not saying that a 2v5 is going to go in your favor, but if there's one combination that I really like, if I'm playing Kiriko, is a Bastion, Kitsune. Because why? Bastion shreds people, you get your cooldowns back, and a lot of the time, while you think they're going to get you, you got to go to the point there. You got to go to the point there. You got a Reinhardt comp. Oh, your Rein's in. Good cleanse. Good play. So just so you know, I do like your TP cleanse there because you have cover behind you. Now, your Reinhardt then dropping their shield and trying to swing on them, that's a different story. Oh, yeah, we want to play the song on that one. Just because it was like... Alright, so... Your Ryan has a play style, that's for sure. I'm fine with that Suzu. I know it's like... wasn't necessary, but like it was fine. Okay.
What's up? Come to me for heals.
Don't go with your Ryan. Do not go with your Ryan right now. Not right now. Alright, I'm gonna tell you what happened there. You worried so much about what your Ryan was gonna do next that you forgot about anything to do with position, and which led to you having to use your Suzu because you were out of position, trying to save your out of position Reinhardt. But in reality, at that point, you need to let the Reinhardt make the play they're gonna make and then save them and be in a position that they can't get your Suzu out so early. So next time, try not to worry so much about what's happening to that Reinhardt and focus more on your position and where your other teammates are. And then when your Ryan finally makes the play like they are now, then you can save them rather than standing on the point and losing your Suzu. At that point, you have to let that play happen. You're not gonna, you just have to, trust me, your Reinhardt, they have, that Reinhardt right now has duct tape on their charge key. You'll hear that Ryan. You'll know when that Ryan's coming in a second to help him, okay? You don't have to worry about that.
My senses are sharpened. Help me move the payload.
I am okay with this TP. So just because oh, big slam! Just because your team, it says critical next to your teammate does not mean you need to Suzu him every time, either.
This might hurt more than usual. Let's get the payload.
Little bit of a tip on that one. You can run forward and then look TP your teammate there. You don't have to like dodge that completely. They almost got you. Look to TP to a teammate during that. And also, I forgot what I was gonna say before that. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I already forgot. Oh yeah, the Suzu. When you get sunstruck and you're near your teammate, just walk towards them and get in range so you can Suzu both of them rather than just Suzu yourself. Because even though your soldier survived that, you see what I'm saying? Kitsune. Thank you. We gotta talk about this for a second, okay? Listen, you will watch me play Kiriko and I will Suzu probably at incorrect times for the same exact reason you're doing. You're just like, you're using it as like a really quick heal on yourself, or like you're seeing somebody who's at critical HP and they're fine, but you just use them. Like at that point, you survive that. You don't need to Suzu it. Like, think about your Suzu as a very important ability that you do want to use, but you need to look at how you're using it. And that is basically the best way to explain it. Played it. Okay. Listen, I need you to play to TP right there, not to play to try to shoot the Reaper who's nanoed in front of you. And what I mean by that is, yeah, maybe you didn't have anybody to TP to, but your only option there is the TP. You can headshot them 4 times and they'll laugh at you because they're going to have 100 HP.
Angel.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's where, like, Suzu, it's one of those abilities that, you know, it comes down to, did I just see the Reinhardt all the way in spawn? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I saw this correctly. All right, let's head back here.
Like a gentle rain.
Not good enough.
Just so you know, I'm very happy with the play you made right there. You see what I mean about how you didn't even care about what your Reinhardt was doing at that point? And at the same time, you probably didn't even know he was there, because, I mean, I saw that from, like, a really far away angle. You see how then you TP'd into the Rhino and had a much better spot to save them when they're towards you and then being aggressive rather than worrying about trying to save them before they even make a play? That is what I'm referencing to that one. And that's an example of where that was a good play by you and a smart play. All right? Big slams! You're gonna want to look to be quicker with your Suzus, but it was a good Suzu. Like, just so you know, like, it wasn't... Also, next time, try to, that's where you would try to DPS the Reaper, by the way. I'm watching.
This might hurt more than usual.
Impressive. I'm gonna talk about something very quick because I see something you're doing. And I think this is gonna help you a lot. I'm watching still. Good job. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this for a second, all right? I think what is gonna help you a ton right now is your positioning. And I'm telling you this right now because I find that you're ending up in the middle of your team, and this is what you're doing. You're like spinning in circles, like slowly trying to figure out where you want to go. Now, if you put yourself in a good spot, then you have vision of your whole team and your decision-making becomes 10 times easier. But when you're in the middle of your team, you have to worry about so many things around you that you can't even think about making the correct play at that time because you have to figure out who you want to go to first. Like, instead of, like, I don't even know how to explain it. You're kind of like a lighthouse in the middle of the open, trying to, like, spin in a circle, looking for things. But in reality, if you just played back here and kind of scanned in front of you, you'd be fine. You need to, like, have the opportunity to see what's in front of you. Good positioning will lead to being able to make better plays because you don't have to worry about 40 things. Thanks for 200 bits, man. Appreciate it. All right?
Bingo.
You can go to your Rhine. Thank you. There you go. You can Suzu that. Thank you. You... Good. Good. Good job. Good job. Well played. Well played. Perfect. I'm gonna give you that Suzu right there because you're gonna get a quick Suzu again. Once again, it wasn't necessary, but I'll give that to you because you're gonna get it back. Make sure when you cleanse, you're aiming towards where it can cleanse them, not the pole in front of you that will LOS block it. You also get bonus healing now when you cleanse something that's actually there, so you missed out on like a good chunk heal too, where it would have like given you a decent amount of like heal on that Rhine. Reaper, that's a Reaper. I wonder if they have ult. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. If you watch a Reaper run into your team from a mile away going 2 miles per hour, there's one thing they're doing at that point. They're either going back to spawn or they're ulting. Now, we've seen the Reaper do that about 3 times this game, so the good chance, or the good suggestion here, is to TP out of there or preemptively cleanse that and then TP out. If you stand there, that is exactly what's going to happen. That is exactly what will happen if you do that. All right, here we go. That cleanse is fine. Good cleanse. That gives your... Reason why that cleanse is good because it gives your Rhine the availability to kind of block a doorway. Especially right now when they're running back from spawn, you're going to go, what about there? That is fine. If your Reinhardt decides to go in there and swing away, there's nothing you can do about that. All right? Alright, you got this. Suzu. Right now. Good job. TP. Play to TP. I'm telling you right now, play to TP to your teammate. Bottom health pack. Just for a second. Just for a second. Okay. So, I know you survived this so far, but, like, Kitsune, the reason why you want to TP is to put yourself back in good position. If you stay there, they can easily get you. The only way this team wins is if they get a random pick, and... Okay, you get res, you're gonna get off the point, you have too many good ults. You're gonna hold that, or you're gonna get that. But like right there, you want to back away, because if they get a pick on you, that gives them an opportunity. That's how teams always can retake. Not always, but can sometimes retake when you do that. Back away to your teammate, go to the safe position. If your Reinhardt dies in that 10th of a second that you TP back to your teammate, then that's on your Rein at that point. So, right now, I really think that sometimes you're just putting yourself in the middle of everybody, and you're not given your opportunity to be able to kind of scan what's happening in front of you and make a decision, you kind of have to make, like, random scuff decisions based off of what we're seeing. Oh, we have a Roadhog now. Wow, really getting all the heroes. Yeah, the Suzus definitely need a bit of improvement.
There's much for you to do.
30 seconds remaining.
Let's get the payload going.
I'm watching. Keep in mind, you're so focused on what's happening in front of you that you have absolutely no idea what was happening behind you during that. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have no idea what's happening behind you during that. You're so focused on what's in front of you that you have no idea. In theory, like, eventually you'll want to start doing a little bit more off-angle DPS as Kiriko, but, like, taking a bit more of, like, one step at a time here. But even then, when you're on that angle, you still have a lot of vision of the map. Yeah. Good. I don't mind that Suzu. That's a good one. That guarantees your teammates survive in front of you. I need you to start... Listen. I need you to start playing to TP out rather than just stand on an ultimate and look down at it. It's a few times you've done that. Your first reaction as Kiriko is to TP out. Okay? It really, really is. Like that needs to be your first reaction. Because if that's not your first reaction, then there's going to be too much time. I don't even... When I was talking about TPing, I was talking about here, by the way. Somebody said, like, oh, you told him to TP out. No, like, remember when they doom ulted here? You TP to, like, your right to your teammate right here. You'll still be on the point, and it will stop the ult from doing value to you. I'm not saying TP out of here up to here by yourself. I will say, the Kiriko did mention that they knew that they should have stayed on the card here, which is totally... Which is fine. This is just kind of one of those things where, like, the best thing you can do at this point is just communicate who is staying on cart no matter what the situation happens is. What the best thing you can do, and keep in mind, you'll see this happen in top 500 games. You'll see me do this sometimes where you kind of gotta get into the heat of the overtime moment, so you forget to even do this, but just communicate, I will be on cart no matter what, and that's that. If you decide to go and feed, that's on you. In theory, I don't think your Roadhog should be up there flanking. I think your Roadhog at this point has the best survivability on point out of anybody on your team. But we know the Roadhog ain't going to do that, right? Like, we know the Roadhog ain't going to do that. So just make sure you communicate who is going to stay on the point. If they go to point and roll you, great play by the other team. But just make sure you communicate that, and then it becomes a little bit easier not to make that TP play. You get what I'm saying? It happens in every rank. It happens in pro matches, all of that. But the best that you can try to do is communicate who will stay on the point, and if you know that you're the one to stay on the point, then more than likely you won't do that, right? It happens. Is your team going to hold close? Your Roadhog's going to stand on the middle of the bridge.
One.
All right.
Attackers incoming.
Listen, I'm going to be real with you. Could you have Suzu that? Yes. Should you have to Suzu that? No. That ain't on you. Don't worry about that one. Chat might be like, Suzu that. Listen, no. That Roadhog stood on top of the middle of the bridge, out of range of where a hook can even happen. That ain't on you. Don't worry about that one. I'm watching to see what happens here. I mean, you lamped. That's good news. Good burst heal. Good job. I'm watching. Oh, that's a hook on a Bastion. Why is the hog running that way? See, that part I can't... Listen, if your hog runs that way to escape out, I don't even know where to go with that one. Like, I... Can't BAP jump up? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Not bad. Huh. You know what? Like, I'll be honest with you. I don't even mind that window. I feel like at this point, your team is playing really aggressive instead of, like, going around it. Yeah, I mean, the BAP could go to the high ground for sure, but this is a little bit more of... your team has decided to play very aggressive, and that's kind of the problem. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, don't do that. If you wanted to go for the play, if you want to go for the play here, keep in mind you can take an angle here with Lamp and try to survive that for your team to give your teammates time. So, I want to point something out. Don't do that. And I'm going to show you something. How did your team lose this point here? Your team got off the point randomly. What I'm saying is anything can happen in these overtimes. You could have all 4 of those teammates miss on you, and you have 3 people up here, and you have a soldier, and you have a Mei. I'm telling you right now, you have time to go to this point and rotate. So, like, I think you go up on this high ground and you wait as long as possible. I think you have a 4v5 here. And 4v5s aren't always winnable, but they can certainly be won. And you have way more opportunity to do that. You have a Lamp, you have a Mei, you have a Mercy, you can res. Play to win that. Yeah, Lamp can save it. Because, look, like, Mercy drops down here, right? You Lamp the point. Mercy survives. Mei goes on a flank, you don't get on the card, etc. Right? But there's a lot that can happen right there. There's a lot that can happen right there where your team can easily win that. You said you think you should be in silver or gold, and you said to roast you like a grilled cheese. 1! At the end of that game, play to win that. Like I said, is there a chance you don't, you know, is it favoring the other team? Yes, but you play to win that. All right? Play to win that. 2, right now, when you play your rank games, I need you to be playing, like, in a good position because you put yourself in the middle of the open and you spin around in circles and you don't give yourself any opportunity to make a good play. You have to react quickly to, like, a bunch of random stuff. Put yourself in a better position. I think right now, there's a lot you have to work on. Another thing that I didn't even mention it much during the VOD. You're not even using your mobility that much. Like, you're playing a hero like Kiriko and BAP who both have pretty good mobility. You weren't wall climbing out of areas too often. You weren't jumping up as BAP. You weren't taking off angles. Like, there's things you can do to improve on those heroes, so you need to start there. And when you start doing that, that is where you start to improve. All right? But, like, I think get more in the mindset of improving on those areas before, like, you know, being like, no, I should definitely be in gold right now at least. You know what I mean? Start working on that stuff, and then you'll see improvement. But, like, if you keep sitting in the middle of the open and just spinning around in circles, you're not going to get anything done. So that's my take on that. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you subbed to all my YouTubes, all 3 of them, a lot of awesome videos on there. If you want to submit your own VOD, if you look in the description below, you can join my Discord. We have a spectating channel there. We record all these live, so make sure to follow the stream. Come by the stream. We have a ton of fun here. And with that being said, hope you all have an amazing day/night.